Hello and welcome to FTTR. I'm Ewan McQuaid, and there's a lot of documentaries out there, isn't there? A lot of wrestling documentaries, and you know I love wrestling documentaries. So today I am talking about one that I just watched, and that is Ospreay. Now, Ospreay, as you might guess, is about Will Ospreay, the famous New Japan Pro Wrestling megastar at the moment. Well known for his athletic style. He's from Essex, I do believe. And yeah, this is a biographical depiction of Will Ospreay and some of the trials and tribulations that he went through to become a professional wrestler. Now, what did I think of this documentary? This documentary is so good. It is one of my favourite. It would have been in my top 5 if I'd have seen it. But sadly I can't retroactively go in and put it in, which is deeply upsetting. But this documentary is so good, and to be honest, a lot of it doesn't actually focus on Will Ospreay. A lot of it focuses on the British scene in sort of the mid 2010s, when it was having a massive boom period with WCPW, Rev Pro, and the emergence of British Strong Style, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate and Travis Banks. Travis Banks is in this. Trent Seven was what I meant to say. Sorry. But yeah, it's about his sort of rising through those ranks and becoming the well-known wrestler that we know today. So what do I think makes this so good? I think it is the way it captures the entire British wrestling scene, particularly when they introduce NXT UK and how NXT UK sort of took everyone from that booming industry and put them under one corporate umbrella. Because I was watching it going like, oh, they're kind of painting NXT UK in this really positive light, it gives these independent wrestlers more money, and it gives them more opportunity on a bigger platform. However, it then quickly turns and shows you the downside of this monopoly that WWE is creating. Because I went into this thinking they're not going to mention it at all. I thought it was going to be just Will Ospreay's story. But no, it really covers a lot of UK promotions and the talent going to WWE and how that affects Will, particularly the departure of Tegan Knox leaving, and how that it devastates him at the end of the day. It's losing a friend. But that is probably the most fascinating part of this documentary. A lot of the stuff revolving around Ospreay's childhood, so building a wrestling ring in his backyard. I love that, because that was in the Young Bucks book, and they mention it as well. The Young Bucks are in this, Kenny Omega's in this. There's a lot of former New Japan talent who show up in this documentary and talk about how Japan works, the sort of brotherhood, the brotherhoodly, is that a word? The brotherhood, let's just go with the brotherhood, that is formed around these New Japan wrestlers, and how it's very difficult to make a name for yourself out there because you're introducing yourself to a new audience. So the UK and the United States, they all have the WWE network. It's very easy for wrestlers, if they're in WWE, to get exposure in numerous places. Japan is its own individual entity, and you have to work your way from the ground up, which is a really interesting system, and it's really explored in this documentary. Now, there aren't many issues I have with this documentary. I suppose the one little bit that sort of stood out to me a lot was towards the end of the documentary. He mentions how a lot of bad things have come to him from wrestling. Will Ospreay does. The runtime is 79 minutes, I believe, and I don't think we've got enough of the negative stuff to really see. It's a very positive and sort of uplifting documentary about a kid rising up and being told, you can't do this, and then eventually doing it. Very interesting stories around that, particularly relating to his school life. But I don't think we saw enough of the negative. as depressing as that sounds, I feel like he needed a little bit more of the negative injected in there to make us really understand the trials that he's gone through to become Will Ospreay. So that is my only little nitpick. But other than that, I think it's just flawless. The way I saw it was, if I was teaching, I was at university and I did teaching, I've done work at university, this would be a documentary that I show sort of amateur filmmakers, because it's filmed in a way that's not too flashy. It's got just the right amount of grit to it, but it would be a film that should be studied in colleges and universities as a incredible documentary piece that is very accessible. It's accessible, it's well put together, but not in a way that feels too overproduced. It's just the right amount of passion and artistic merit. I'm getting a bit pretentious now, sorry. It's just an incredible piece of wrestling filmmaking, and one of the best documentaries that is available currently if you don't have the WWE Network. I watched it on Amazon Prime. So if you are interested in New Japan, independent wrestling, or British wrestling in particular, I feel like if you want to learn more about British wrestling, you should watch this documentary. I would honestly 100% recommend Ospreay, The Rise of a Professional Wrestler. If I were to score this, I would score this 5 out of 5. I really, really enjoyed this, and it'll be one that I am constantly recommending to all my friends, because I think it can get people in. It can really get people into wrestling. If they haven't seen sort of the high-flying style, because there's highlights of the Ricochet Will Ospreay match from WCPW, and there's a little bit from the New Japan Clash as well, I believe. And there was another one. It wasn't DDT. It was an Irish promotion. It'll be above my face, because it's gone. It's gone. Yes, the high-flying style. This is so accessible to newcomers, and it's a documentary that's just a little bit hidden. It's a hidden gem that I would highly, highly recommend. It's brilliant. Now I've sung the praises enough, but if you are interested in any other wrestling documentaries, look above my face and you'll be able to see 5 wrestling documentaries that you can watch either on the WWE Network. I'm not sure which side they'll be. Might have to change that. We'll see. 5 wrestling documentaries you can watch on the WWE Network, and 5 wrestling documentaries that you can watch without having the WWE Network. Check out those videos and see my recommendations. And thank you everyone for your support of FTTR. I'll have new videos coming very soon. Please like the video, please hit subscribe, and check out Will Ospreay, The Rise of a Professional Wrestler. Thank you ever so much, and have a nice day.